Hi, I'm Shelley Jones. Welcome to Learning Math with Dr. Jones. Our Facebook group will post a daily math lesson Monday through Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time throughout the month of August.
Good morning. I'm Shelley Jones from Central Connecticut State University, and I will be working with the student workbook on Math Foundations, section 2.5, problem solving using linear equations, and it's on page 83. So the first example says, the sum of three consecutive numbers is 102. What are the three numbers? So leading up to this section, students have already learned about solving linear equations. Now what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to create the actual equations from situations. So you're going to be able to read the word problems and then tell what your variable represents, and then from there create that, write that equation, and then solve it. All right, so let's start with this one. It says, okay, so I said, let the first number be n, all right? Since we have three consecutive numbers. So consecutive numbers are numbers that follow each other, 23, 24, 25, 27, 28, 29, 43, 44, 45. So those are our consecutive numbers, but since I don't know any of the numbers, I start with n. So I'll let n be my first number, and then the next number would be n plus 1, and then the next number would be n plus 2. And that gives me my three consecutive numbers. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this without the parentheses. I put them in parentheses just because each one is its own separate thing. But as I take it out of the parentheses, I see that there was really nothing I needed to do in the parentheses. N plus 1, there's nothing I could do. There's nothing on the outside of the parenthesis that has to be distributed. So right now, all I did was take away the parentheses. Now I'm going to combine like terms. I have an n, and an n. So I could bring those all together, but I can just clearly see that I have three n's. So I have 3n plus 3, a 1 and a 2. They're both positive, so plus 3 equals 102. So far, so good, right? Now I'm going to begin to isolate the variable. In order to do that, I have to undo whatever's being done to the variable. And right now we have 3 times n plus 3. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 3 from both sides so that I can isolate that variable of n, right? So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. 3 minus 3 is 0. 3n plus 0 is 3n. So on this side, I'm left with 3n. Equals, on this side of the equal sign, I'm left with 99. 102 minus 3 is 99. Then I have to divide both sides by 3. I'm undoing, right? So if I'm multiplying 3 times n, then I have to divide by 3 to get rid of that 3. So I divide it by 3. 3 over 3 is 1. 1 times n is just n. Some people say, oh, I'm canceling that. I'm canceling the 3's. I say that sometimes as well. So n equals 99 divided by 3 is 33. I haven't actually answered my question yet because I've only found the first consecutive number. But if I have 3 consecutive numbers starting with n equals 33, so my 3 numbers, my 3 consecutive numbers are 33, 34, and 35. So I want to make sure I actually answer the question, okay? So that was example 1. I'm going to come back to this one in a bit. That's a problem-solving example from page 86. Let me do example 3 first, though, on page 83. So I'm still in section 2.3. Now, this one actually gives you a visual. It says, I have a garden, and I have it separated into 2 parts. I have flowers, and I have vegetables. I don't know the length of the garden. That's one of the things I need to find out. But the length of the garden, I'm going to say is L, and then the width is L minus 32. So once I find the length, then I can find the width. And the reason I need to find the length and the width is because it asks for the area. So I'll read it. The garden has fencing around it and between it. So there's fencing around, which would be my perimeter, and then also this one between it. So I have a fence there to separate the flowers from the vegetables. But the total fencing is 244 feet. Find the area. So first, I need to figure out this. If I know all of this is 244, the perimeter plus this part in the middle, that's 244. So I can add around the garden. So let's see. I have an L and another L. Because if this is L, then so is this. And then this L minus 32 is here and here as well. So let's see. I have an L plus an L plus I have a L minus 32 plus an L minus 32 plus an L minus 32. Boy, that's a lot. Okay. And again, there's nothing I can really do with those parentheses. L minus 32 is just going to stay L minus 32. So I can actually just add all of the L's and all of the constants. So let's do that. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I can take this out if I want. I don't need to. If you want to rewrite that whole thing, you can go ahead and rewrite that. But I would have L plus L plus L minus 32 plus L minus 32 plus L minus 32, all without the parentheses. I have 5 of those L's. So 5L, 5L. Okay, now this is interesting because my 32s are all minus or plus a negative, right? So I have to subtract 32. So let's see how many of those I have. I have a 32, a minus 32, and another minus 32. So that's minus 96. Okay. I have a minus 32, a minus 32, and a minus 32. And all of that is equal to 244. And I should write that here as well. And I wrote my units as feet. Okay. So now I want to just begin to undo some of the things being done to the variable so that I can isolate it. So I'm going to add 96 to both sides. And if you're wondering, that's 96 feet because we're right now we're talking about feet. So 244 minus 96, I'm going to use my calculator just for time's sake. 244 minus 96 is 148. So 5L equals, that canceled out to 0. 5L minus 0 is 5L. 244 plus, I did minus. Hold on a second. 244 plus 96. 340. And again, that's feet. Divide by 5, divide by 5. Why am I dividing by 5? Because I want that L to be by itself because I need to know the length so that I could figure out the width, so that I could figure out the area. Okay? So I'm always thinking about what do I need to do to get that L, to get that variable by itself. If 5 divided by 5 is 1, 1 times L is just L. Finally, I've isolated the variable. I have L all by itself. What does that equal? Well, 340 divided by 5 is 68. So L equals 68. 68 what? 68 feet. So if this equals 68 feet, then L minus 32, my W, and I'll write it over here, W equals 68 minus 32. 8 minus 2 is 6. And 6 minus 3 is 3, 36 feet. So my width is 36 feet. So did I answer the question? No. My area equals length times width equals 68 feet times 36 feet. And let's see what I get for that. So, I'm actually going to write in the feet and 36 feet. I wrote in the feet because I want to make sure that you remember when you're doing this that you need to have the correct units. And in this case, for area, feet times feet is square feet. And so basically, remember, square feet says if I were to make squares out of this, how many squares would I have to cover that garden? Okay. And that's something that would be interesting to know. All right, so let me just work this out. $24.48. So the area is 2448 square feet. You can say feet squared like that, or you could say SQFT for square feet. So 2448. What I love about this is if I figured out the area. Why would I need to know that? Maybe I want to know if I could plant one flower for each square foot, right? Think of a tile that you have on a floor. Then there will be one placed in there, one placed in the next tile, and so forth. I would be able to fit 2,448 flowers or plants in that garden. Okay.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shelley Jones. I'm excited to announce the 1-year anniversary of my best-selling book, Women Who Count, honoring African American women mathematicians. Meet me on Sunday, September 13th at 2 p.m. to celebrate Women Who Count because representation matters. Stay tuned for a special panel discussion with mathematicians featured in the book, giveaways including a Katherine Johnson t-shirt, and activities from the book. Please register on Eventbrite for Women Who Count's 1-year celebration.